unless you're talking UDFAs, right? Trace Ford just tested his way into day 3 consideration earlier today. In case you missed it, 10'2" in the broad jump, 36-inch vert, and a 4.55 in the 40-yard dash. Yes, a 4.55. I did not misspeak. Moreover, he posted 3 cone times and shuttle times that would have each been 5th among defensive ends at the NFL Combine, Grayson. We got action.
I'm glad y'all found this out. And I think what was the disappointing thing about, for me, having watched Trace Ford my first 2 years as a student at Oklahoma State, is that I knew he was athletic.
Mm-hmm.
He showed that athleticism a ton while he was at Oklahoma State. Just couldn't crack the rotation on a consistent basis here. But no, he is incredibly athletic, and I think your takeaway is mine. He has a chance to go probably no earlier than the late 5th round. We understand that. He didn't vault himself to the 4th, 3rd round. But he showed that athleticism in his seasons at Oklahoma State. Batting passes out of the air. He was good at stopping the run. Very technically sound in that way. Could rush the passer as well. And by the way, the 4.55, that's a little high for a defensive end. But it doesn't come as a surprise to me that he ran a good 40. Because he has always had speed off the edge. So it's a welcome surprise. I think it's one of those things. I'll say this, Parker. It's one of those things that Oklahoma State and Oklahoma fans can rejoice with at the same time. And those moments are few and far between.
A man of the people, Trace Ford, uniting the entire state of Oklahoma behind him. Sheesh, man. 4.55. I mean, that, amongst a litany of impressive testing numbers this morning, that was the most impressive because you watched 2 of your cornerbacks that played a lot and started for Oklahoma this past season run a 4.57. That was Woody Washington's time. And quite alarmingly, a 4.80 for Des Malone.
Oh.
Yes. Trace Ford goes 4.55, which would have been second only to James Pierce among defensive ends at the NFL Combine. And here's what intrigues me about his draft day potential at this point. Now he obviously has tested really well, but that's not all there is. You rewind a year when Jonah Laulu had an outstanding testing performance at Oklahoma's Pro Day, and there was some optimism that, okay, maybe there's a team in the 7th round or so that takes a gander on Jonah Laulu because there's not a whole lot of tape there, but with the athletic upside that he possesses, maybe he's worth a late-round flyer. And indeed he was. The Indianapolis Colts drafted him in the 7th round. Trace Ford's got tape, and he's got plenty of it at the P4 level. Tape at Oklahoma State, tape at Oklahoma. He's proven he can compete at the highest level and excel. And so when you combine that with the strong testing, the strong numbers, there's not a whole lot of doubt in my mind that Trace Ford is hearing his name called on draft day at this point. That's a guy that come round 6 or round 7, yeah, somebody's taking a shot with him. Because not only does he have the tape and not only does he have the 40 time and the 3-cone time and the broad jump and the vert, right? But he's going to be position and scheme versatile. I was talking off to the side with a couple folks, NFL personnel, ex-players, that were saying there's so much you can do with a guy like Trace Ford because of his athleticism and his skill set at that size. He doesn't have to be a defensive end. Yeah, he could be, but he could just as easily be a jackbacker in a 3-4 scheme. Or he could be an off-ball linebacker. He could be an inside linebacker. So there's a ton of intrigue at this point that I think has been created just over the last few hours with the way that Trace Ford performed at OU's Pro Day.
Trace Ford came into this season at 6'2", 252 is what he was listed at as on OU's roster.
Mm-hmm.
You know who he's similar in size to that I think you can do a lot more, a lot with other than just put him as a defensive end? Nick Bonito. And Nick Bonito.
I love that you went there
and
because
Nick Bonito had to transition schemes when the Broncos hired a new defensive coordinator. They play primarily a 3-4 scheme now, and Nick Bonito just had his best year as a stand-up outside linebacker. Now, Trace Ford, here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I'll say to what you just said, though. Trace Ford doesn't have a whole lot of tape as an inside backer.
No, he doesn't.
I don't, if any, at the collegiate level. But he's got some of the traits you can do it. Now, here's the thing. Don't let the 4.55 time fool you. We still don't know if he's fast enough to play inside linebacker. That might be a little bit of a jump.
Does that not suggest he's fast enough, though?
Here's the thing with the 40, and this has long been my theory about the 40.
Okay.
And I think this year with Trace, and I think with Ollie Gordon's 4.9 that he ran at the combine, I think it illustrates this point a little bit more. The 40 is like the SAT. You train and you study to be able to do those things well. And running a 40 is not like running football speed when you're playing a game. Number one, you're in spandex. And number two, you're running in a straight line. So just like the SAT isn't really a referendum on how good of a student you may or may not be, I think the 40 is somewhere similar into that ilk. So if I just watch on tape, I don't know if he's an inside linebacker. Maybe you could try it, but that wouldn't be something I would just be eager to do. But he does have a lot of positional versatility, scheme versatility, as it pertains to being a defensive end or a stand-up outside linebacker.
He weighed in this morning at Pro Day at 249 pounds at 6'2". So there you go. He's trimmed a little bit of weight. Not much, but a little bit.
You like my Nick Bonito comparison,
I like the Nick Bonito comparison a lot because Nick Bonito, very much similar as far as the physique, the stature.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I will say there are not many pure pass rushers out there that can hold a candle to Nick Bonito. I think he's certainly better than Trace Ford and most anyone else in that regard. But the versatility of his game, what's really enabled him to take that next step as an NFL defender beyond just being a pass rushing specialist, you see some of those tools in Trace Ford's toolbox, certainly. One-star Puerto Rican Sooner on the text line, which, by the way, 405-651-3439 is the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line if you want to chime in. Puerto Rican Sooner says, imagine getting outdone by a white guy that's 70-plus pounds heavier than you. Des Malone really took a low blow today. Yeah, he ran a 4.80. Caden Woolard at 6'5", 270-something, ran a 4.83. Somebody else in the 405 said, no wonder our corners can't cover. They're barely fast enough to cover an offensive lineman, much less a 4.3 wide receiver.
But also, I think that goes back to my point, is like the 40 can tell lies. Do we really think you saw Ollie Gordon in Stillwater when you went there for Bedlam?
Yep.
You think he really is that slow?
I think for him it doesn't freaking matter.
It's a fair point.
And there are some guys,
that's a fair
right?
point.
And you are right to an extent about the 40. There are some guys that don't run a fast 40, but they're football fast. For instance.
Exactly.
Like, and I'll give you a great example of this phenomenon. And it's a shame he didn't wind up at Oklahoma because I think he would have done something here. But Oklahoma, for the longest time, held a commitment from Grayson Harris, the high 3-star wide receiver out of Ennis, Texas in the 2025 class. They dropped him towards the end. He went to Mississippi State. But Grayson Harris, I don't believe, ever ran below 11 seconds in the 100 meters.
Damn.
If you watch him on a football field, though, ain't nobody touching that dude. Nobody can stay stride for stride with him. Nobody can contain him in the open field. He is an example of a guy that while he may not be track fast, he is football fast.
There 1,000% is a difference.
Recruiting Boomer on the text line says, Des Malone showing why he didn't get run over a true freshman. Well, that and the freshman is a freaking mutant at 5'9".
Can we? Yeah. What happened with Eli Bowen?
Ankle injury. He's in a boot. He's on crutches. It's not something that he won't get over in a few weeks.
Okay.
But I wouldn't expect to see him the rest of the way in spring. Not going to affect his availability for the season, though. Gunny of Stutzman Army says, I scored a 24 on the ACT while hungover and maybe still half lit. Good on you, Gunny. I have no idea what that has to do with the NFL Combine or OU's Pro Day.
Well, I dropped the SAT analogy with the 40.
24, Gunny. That's not half bad.
It's better than mine.
Not bad at all. Really?
It's better than mine when I was sober. I got a 22.
And that's why he went to Oklahoma State.
Would you get, Parker, a 32?
I never took the ACT.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, good for you.
I took the SAT once, and that was it.
Oh, good for you. I wish I could have taken those 5 hours of my life back.
Chris from Knoxville says, the word injury gives me PTSD at this point.
Valid.
Quite understandable. It feels like every time you turn your head, oh, there's another big-time contributor for OU that's on the shelf. Already this spring. I mean, we're 5 days in, and Jaden Gibson is down once again. Eli Bowen is on crutches. Deion Burks is in a boot. Jeremiah Newcomb's not practicing.
Yeah, this is kind of bad right now.
You have a conspiracy theory?
No, I mean, I don't have a conspiracy theory, but coming off of what we went through last year, this is not a very good start.
Nope. No, it's not. Zach and Purcell says, cue the storm of everyone's ACT scores rolling in. I do not want or need to know what you scored on the ACT.
Honestly, I'd like to know. We may not read them on the show.
I'll say this. If your ACT was higher than 30, let us know. If your ACT was lower than 30, it doesn't have the potential to change my opinion of you for anything but the worse. So, John, the Duke of Margaritaville, says, we didn't do test prep classes back in the day. Scored 33 on the ACT, hungover.
Good for y'all.
That's freaking impressive. I had a buddy that took the ACT hungover. He got a 17.
Hey man, some people just function better when they're inebriated. Kind of from the 316. Eli Bowen was 3 inches from being a 5-star.
And there's a lot of truth to that.
What do you mean by that, man?
Where is your mind at right now? Because I'll tell you where my mind's at. It's exactly where that text was intended. If he was 6 feet tall, yeah, he would have been a 5-star. Very little doubt in my mind. Brad from Mustang says, can we just not have any injury reports until summer is over? Pretty impossible. Pretty impossible. The second anyone gets dinged up even slightly, rumors start to get out. People are talking. People are speculating. And then, of course, you have to address it because then if you don't, the rumors can just get out of control. Like, this guy tore his ACL. No, he didn't. He just has a knee sprain or something like that.
Robert on the YouTube chat, soft tissue you.
Oh, man. It really is crazy when you sit there and think about how many guys have been affected by injury in the last 9 months for Oklahoma. How many guys have not just gotten a bump or a bruise or a cut, but had an injury that cost them substantial time or the season in Jaden Gibson's case. Frisco Sooner, I'm not reading that text. Great text. I'm not reading it. Oh, 310 listener says, yeah, I got a 30 on my ACT and got full ride scholarships to universities I didn't even apply to. I don't think that's legal. Yeah, are you you got like mafia ties or something? Something going on under the table there. If you got universities hitting you up saying, hey, come here for free.
I would have liked that.
Yeah, man, college for free would have been great. College was cheap for me. Relatively cheap, I should say. College for free, man. Think about the life you could have lived for the 4 years you were on a college campus if you didn't have to worry about any expenses.
Man, I would have been in a different headspace sophomore year. I'll tell you that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Sophomore year was stressful, man.
The realist says, that's why OU is doing the Crimson Combine, because they won't have enough available players for a scrimmage. They will all be injured.
This is a fair point, though. I know it's cynical, but if you think about it, you already got players going down. Do you really want to be playing a football game?
I mean, here's the thing, though. Is it going to be all that different from what they're doing on the practice field? Like, you can make the argument that what they do on the practice field every single day is more strenuous and creates more potential for injury than a 60-minute scrimmage would.
Not wrong. But I can see where your thinking would come from with the realist text.
Zach and Purcell has cracked the case for us. He says, stormed the field after Bama and rolled my ankle. It's in the turf. Jason Fairs, where are you? Jason Fairs, if you're listening, we need your assistance. We need your expertise. There's a turf monster on the loose at the University of Oklahoma. That needs to be curtailed. Pronto.
Christy on the text line. Why are these people bragging about being drunk or high while taking the ACT or SAT? You were likely 18 or younger. Where was the parental guidance?
You know, Christy, I wish I could answer that question for you. I cannot. I'm sure there are many texters that would be happy to share all the details of their pre-ACT partying stories. We might read them. Probably not. We have a lot of OU football and recruiting talk to get to over the course of about the next 40 minutes here on The Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune, Grayson, Singleton here with you in the Buffalo Wild Wings studios. We'll hit a quick break. Come back next. Keep it right here.
Bleed Crimson? Love great Sooner talk? Join the Ref Army by downloading our free app. Toby and TJ, Plank and Josh, Steelman and Thune, and Teddy and Tyler. We have the Sooner experts. The Ref is home to Sooner fans worldwide.
Tired of your current living situation? Now is the best time to make a move. Interest rates are dropping and Home Creations is offering the best financing around with rates as low as 3.625%. This will save you hundreds per month on your brand new Home Creations home. Live like a champion today by calling Holly at 405-364-9999 for full details.
364-9999 means Home Creations.
APR 6.508%.
Dove Schools is looking for a reading specialist to teach reading at a secondary school. Candidates must have a bachelor's degree in English language education or a related field and 1 year of experience in a job as an English or ESL teacher at a secondary school level. Job is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. If interested in this opportunity, mail your resume to Dove Schools, Inc., 5601 Northwest Expressway, War Acres, Oklahoma, 73132. Attention HR. Refer to add #SU.
Don't miss out on OKC's hottest entertainment at the Showplace Theater with acts like Boys to Men, April 18th. America, April 26th. Patti LaBelle, May 2nd. And Scotty McCreery, May 10th. Riverwind is OKC's favorite casino experience.
At Confidence Ford of Norman, we believe in living up to our name. Our commitment to confidence is in everything we do. Whether you're searching for the perfect vehicle from our extensive selection of new Ford models or pre-owned cars, our dedicated team will help you every step of the way. Because with us, you're family. We're conveniently located at 825 North Interstate Drive. Confidence Ford of Norman, a Cavender Auto family dealership where confidence is Cavender.
Does your banker know your business, the challenges you face, and what makes you unique? At Armstrong Bank, we're dedicated to understanding your business and working alongside you. A true partnership is more than financial transactions. It's support, trust, and attention. This is how we make businesses stronger. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Contact our knowledgeable bankers to open your business account. Member FDIC.
Hi, this is Monty Markham at Markham's Nursery. It's that time of year to get outside and spend some time in the yard, planting your favorite trees, shrubs, and flowers, and we've got a huge selection of them at Markham's. This Saturday and Sunday only, March the 15th and 16th, is our annual spring open house at all Markham's locations. Come by and stock up on seeds, bulbs, pottery, fertilizers, yard ornaments, and much more. We hope to see you this Saturday.
Markham's Nursery, just add the sun.
Have you or someone you know suffered a loss to your home or business from the recent storms? Before you accept a settlement, call Brown O'Haver at 405-735-5510. Brown O'Haver is a local-based company helping Oklahomans with claims since 1988 with preparation and expert analysis detailing your loss and insurance settlement. As your trusted consultant, Brown O'Haver can give you peace of mind and make sure you're getting what's yours. Call Brown O'Haver today, 405-735-5510, and make sure they're working for you.
Once upon a time, our family had trouble with pests around our home. Did you know that stinging insects send tons of people to the hospital? And teeny ticks and mosquitoes can be all around the yard. Their bites can make people and their pets sick. Mice, rats, and roaches need food and water just like us. You do not want them to visit. They can spread disease and make it hard to breathe. I'm sure glad this story has a happy ending.
Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association.
Locked In is brought to you today and every day by the good folks at Dorsey Jones Buick GMC in El Reno. Family owned and operated. They pride themselves on having the best service technicians and friendly service advisors that put your needs first, as well as half-price oil changes on Saturdays. They sell Buicks and GMCs, some of the best trucks and SUVs on the road, in a low-pressure sales environment that creates an enjoyable experience for everyone. So many reasons to check out Dorsey Jones Buick GMC out in El Reno. Chris from Knoxville on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line said, I watched someone shoot 2 5-hour energies and pop some Grizzy wintergreen in their mouth. I'm assuming that he meant grizzly wintergreen in their mouth before an ACT exam. LOL. I wonder what would happen if the average human being did that. Because I'm imagining that particular individual had some tolerance built up. But, like, what would happen to me, for instance, if I shot 2 5-hour energies and threw in some grizzly wintergreen?
You probably wouldn't score well on the ACT.
My circuits would probably fry on the spot. I might just faint. I might just lose consciousness then and there. Cherokee Sooner says, Mike Gundy's turtle got a higher ACT score than Drinkwitz. Drew from Flower Mount, on a completely different note, asks, Grayson, are you calling the Deer Creek Owasso game today?
No. I'm not going to get into details of why why we can't broadcast.
He's under performance review.
Of why we That's hilarious you say that. No, I'm not going to get in the weeds of why we can't do the state games, but no, I'm actually calling Deer Creek and Edmond Santa Fe baseball this afternoon.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
5 o'clock.
Savion Sims, right?
Savion Sims, I found out today, has not pitched this season. Why, I don't know. But yeah, he's the Oklahoma commit. He has not pitched this season. He DH'd in the game yesterday against Deer Creek. That was at Santa Fe. I've got it in my notes somewhere. He went like 0 for 2 or something like that.
He hit a tank last week.
He did.
I saw it on social media.
He did.
Kid can hit.
He went 0 for 4 yesterday, so we'll see if he's DHing today.
Monster Truck Guy on the text line says, a friend of mine got a dip of Skull Mint and was throwing up for a full 24 hours. Pathetic. If I'm being honest, that would probably be me. A listener in the 740 says, wife used Mocha Monster Energy as her creamer in a coffee during her nursing clinicals. Said she could see sound. I wonder what that's like.
Seeing sound is something I would assume you were on a really potent edible. I wonder what seeing sound is like.
Chris from Knoxville says, small town West Tennessee folks are built different, man. I have no doubt that's probably the grizzly wintergreen country out there. Greg and Muskogee, yep, here we go. You guys are starting tobacco beef on the text line.
Is that what that is?
You'd throw up because grizzly is disgusting. You'll be fine with Copenhagen.
See, I've never been a tobacco person at all, so.
Yeah, it's probably for the best.
Yes, agreed.
Steely would agree. as someone who can't get off of it.
I was about to say.
We've been trying for years. Just make the switch to Zyn, Steely.
Have you really?
Yes. Yes. I don't know what it's going to take. Am I going to have Bill Bedenbaugh show up to these offices and yell at him in his coach voice?
Does Bill Bedenbaugh not like tobacco?
Bill Bedenbaugh is a Zyn guy.
Oh,
very
really?
Famously a Zyn guy.
Really?
Yes. Perhaps the most famous Zyn user in the state of Oklahoma. The most notorious Zyn user in the state of Oklahoma.
I've never tried it. I have gotten hit in the back of the head with a Zyn container at an OSU football game one time.
That sounds like an OSU football game.
Oh, it 1,000% does. I will readily admit that.
Oh, 405 listener says, as long as the injuries I'm hearing coming out of Oklahoma spring ball is twisted ankles and bumps and bruises, then I'm good. Because that's going on in all spring football across the country. It's just a bigger deal at Oklahoma because of last year. And ain't that the truth? Like, anybody that is hurt, anybody that's sitting out for any reason, like the issue of injuries, is going to be heightened and magnified moving forward because of what happened throughout 2024. Even for something that's not a big deal, like Eli Bowen having a sprained ankle, it's going to be a bigger deal to a lot of folks because their immediate thought is going to be, well, I wonder how that training staff's going to screw this one up.
Well, Parker, and not to accost you in any way, but your tweet freaked me out too about Eli Bowen. I feel like I'm more level-headed than most of the people reacting to this, and that's just fine, by the way. Don't get me wrong. But when I see a picture of Eli Bowen on crutches, I'm like, oh Lord.
Beach Bum Sooner says, take acid if you want to see sound.
I don't want to see sound. That doesn't sound fun.
I don't know. You sounded very curious just a minute ago.
I'm curious.
They don't want to see sound.
Oh, I'm very curious as to what it feels like. I'm not saying I want to try it. Those are two very different things.
Hey, let's talk about recruiting here. Let's dive into a different conversation entirely. We can work back around to spring football. But something that is actively taking shape in front of our very eyes is a big, big recruiting weekend, June 6th through the 8th, with one position specifically, and that is the linebacker position. Because, Grayson, the Sooners, as of right now, have 5 linebackers that are set to OV to Oklahoma. And I guess I need to update this list on OUinsider.com because I'm missing 2 of them. But they have 5 linebackers that are set to OV to Oklahoma the weekend of June 6th through the 8th. You have Braxton Lindsey, the 4-star linebacker from the state of Arkansas. You have Quebec, the 4-star linebacker from Carthage, Texas. You have Talanoa Ely, 4-star linebacker, the highest rated of the bunch. He's the number 59 player in the country, coming all the way from the state of California to OV. Sincere Johnson, a 4-star backer from the state of Ohio. And then most recently, as we confirmed today at OUinsider.com, 4-star linebacker Keenan Harris from St. Louis, Missouri. I will tell you this much, Grayson. After watching the way that Nate Dreiling, Oklahoma's new linebackers coach, acts and conducts himself and interacts with the guys on the practice field, I am a believer that he's going to be a pretty dynamic recruiter. And we haven't really been able to see that yet because he's literally never worked at a Power 4 school, I don't believe, in an on-field capacity. It's been all G5 experience. You don't really get to develop a reputation as an ace recruiter at the G5 level because, let's be honest, more often than not, you're recruiting leftovers. But now that he is at a P4 program and gets to wear a logo like OU's on his shirt, I feel like Nate Dreiling's going to add a lot of value for Oklahoma as a recruiter. And the knowledge alone that Oklahoma is going to get 5 blue-chip linebackers in one weekend on campus will make you believe Oklahoma is going to have a pretty impressive class at that position because obviously you don't expect to land them all. You don't have to land them all. If you can get 1 or 2 of those guys that show up that weekend, that's a haul, man.
No doubt. And unless I missed something, Cam Johnson wasn't on that. He was not on that list, right?
Kamarian Johnson.
Kamarian Johnson.
Yeah, no, he's coming for the barbecue.
He's going. Okay, good. Because he before I watched Talanoa Ely, he was my favorite of the bunch.
So he's a defensive end.
Oh, that's right. He also played a little bit of outside linebacker too, which is why
big boy.
Which is why I grouped him in this list. If they can land, I will say this. If they can land Talanoa Ely, good God Almighty, you've got something. I mean, that dude looks like he looks like he plays linebacker in the SEC right now.
Yeah, speaking of which, he was at practice yesterday.
Did you get a chance to talk to him?
No, we're not allowed to do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Can't talk to him at practice.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Yeah. He was in town for an unofficial visit, checking practice out. Him and former Oklahoma defensive end commit Zane Rowe.
I saw the Zane Rowe was in town. So if he was a former Oklahoma commit, is he still thinking about circling back around and
still heavily considering Oklahoma? Yes.
He just wanted to reopen his recruitment.
Well, just came to the realization that he made an emotionally charged decision way too early in the process, which he did, to be fair. Like, he was not yet done with his freshman year of high school when he committed to Oklahoma. I have no idea how at that point. And I know there are athletes that do it. Softball players do it, right? There are certain sports where you commit early. Baseball players, that some of them commit when they're in 7th or 8th grade. But I have no idea how you can make a decision as to what college you're going to attend that early on in the process and have any degree of confidence in it.
I mean, exactly. I mean, now to your baseball point, Oklahoma has 2 baseball commits in the OKC metro area that have been committed since their freshman year for Josiah Kemp over at Westmore, who is a stud, by the way. Keep that in mind. But no, Talanoa Ely, I really like. Are there any updates on the twins?
Bo and Nico Jandro.
The Jandros, yes.
Yeah, they're coming in for the Champion Barbecue. So they'll be there June 20th through the 22nd. And as of right now, that's a very lengthy list of visitors, 20th through the 22nd for the barbecue. Bo is the only linebacker of that group. And it looks like Nico is the only cheetah. So there you go.
They've got a chance to bring in a haul with this class.
And it's time, right? As we've discussed, it's time for Oklahoma to reload there.
Yes.
At linebacker most specifically.
Yes.
You need to have a large class. Obviously, it's going to be a talented class. You're at the University of Oklahoma. You're going to find talent. You're going to obtain talent. But it's got to be a large class. And Nate Dreiling in Oklahoma, man, they're successfully casting a pretty wide net. Just in terms of getting guys to lock in OVs, which is the first step. You get an OV, you got a shot at a guy.
I mean, because you can only take – there's only a limited number of OVs you can take.
Not anymore.
They did away with that rule.
Yes. They did away with both. So it used to be that universities could only host – I think the number was 53 total players in a recruiting cycle for official visits.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to be real scrupulous about who they OV'd and who they didn't. And recruits could only take five official visits.
Yeah.
That is no longer the case. For instance, a guy like Donovan Webb, 4-star safety out of Panther Creek High School down in Frisco, Texas, he's going to be at Oklahoma for the Champion Barbecue. As of right now today, March 11th, 2025, he has 9 official visits scheduled. I don't think he winds up taking all 9.
I don't think so either, but
you just hope that doesn't end up burning OU, because 9 official visits is a crap ton. He's going to get tired of it at a certain point, but Oklahoma, as of right now, is getting the last visit, and so you just hope that he makes it to
I was about to say, given the sentence that preceded what you just said.
you're just hoping he makes it there.
But you want to reload at linebacker before you get desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know desperation can either make deals or make dummies. So, I think this class, man, if you can get 4 of these dudes, because all of these dudes are incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Jandro, Johnson, who I called an outside linebacker, could play at scheme versatility. We talked about that in the first segment with Trace Ford and Nick Benito. Those type of guys. Ely, if you can lock down 3 linebackers, maybe 4. I mean, you're feeling excellent going forward.
Look, I like Oklahoma for the Jandro brothers. I think that's happening. I really do.
So Oregon's not going to be in the picture here?
They still haven't offered
Have they
Nico.
still not offered Nico?
They still haven't offered Nico. So
Oregon might be dropped. Now, Oregon's in a position where they can recover from it, don't get me wrong.
And Oregon is also in a position, like, I kind of respect the way that Dan Lanning and his staff recruit, because I think they've come to understand that, A, we don't have to be early to the table with a guy because we're enough of a powerhouse with enough resources that we can make up for lost ground by any means necessary. And also, this might be what's preventing Nico from getting the offer. Oregon doesn't recruit 3-stars. They don't. If you look at it, you look at their recent like they just straight up don't recruit 3-stars. They don't take projects. They don't take guys that need developing. They look at the absolute best of the best. I was talking, matter of fact, a couple weeks ago I was down in Houston talking to a guy that played at Oregon not too terribly long ago and still obviously has a ton of connections within the program, and he said, yeah, look, they're recruiting the absolute top tier dudes. Those are the only dudes they're interested in. Now, certainly, you have a guy that might be a 3-star right now that could become a 4-star, could rise to blue chip territory later on, but if we're just looking at general trends, those aren't the guys Oregon recruits. They recruit the consensus, surefire blue chippers and recruit them pretty successfully. And they always generate a ton of motion late in the cycle, even with guys that are committed elsewhere. Oregon has been a very popular flip destination in recent years.
And they flip people from some pretty good programs, too.
So, like, does Oregon even pull the trigger on Nico? I don't know that that's a certainty. And if they don't pull the trigger on Nico, I feel that much better about Oklahoma landing the duo. Because that is their best offer right now. The best offer that both of them have. Bo has a few that Nico doesn't have. Nico has a few that Bo doesn't have. But the best offer amongst the schools that have pursued them both is certainly Oklahoma. And they realize that. And it's part of the reason that even before they've been up to campus, they still have not been to the University of Oklahoma. They're going to make their first trip on March 29th. Even before they've been to campus for the first time, they've already set their official visits for the Champion Barbecue. So we'll be tracking that closely. We're overdue for a timeout. More OU football and recruiting talk on the other side. You're listening to Locked In here on the Ref Sports Radio Network, the home of Sooner fans. Don't go anywhere.
This is your home for Sooner fans, the Ref Sports Radio Network.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
Looking for a trusted, locally owned and operated roofing company in Oklahoma? Black Thunder Roofing is a top-rated Home Advisor Elite Service Award winner and recipients of multiple Angie Superior Service Awards. They can do it all. Black Thunder also does free inspections and estimates. Locally operated in Norman and Edmond, Black Thunder Roofing serves OKC's metro area south to Purcell, Noble, Blanchard, as well as Yukon, Mustang, Bethany, and Piedmont. Visit blackthunderroofing.com or call 405-473-8028 for your free estimate today.
The Ref is the home of Sooner fans and is once again your home for chaos. Every game-changing hit.
Long fly ball to left. Track. Whoa. Gone.
Every strikeout.
Got him. Swinging.
Every defensive gem.
He caught it. He caught it.
Every game. All year. The Ref has you covered.
Sooner Baseball hosts the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs this Wednesday night at 6:30 with pregame coverage at 6 o'clock right here on the Ref and the KREF app.
Whether you're celebrating a special occasion, desire a great postgame, or after-work dining experience, the Ranch Steakhouse is the winning choice. At Ranch Steakhouse, we're grilling up the best USDA prime steaks in Oklahoma. Juicy, flavorful, and cooked to perfection. Pair that with an unbeatable atmosphere, a killer drink selection, and a wine list of over 400 personally curated bottles. Whether you're toasting the game or winding down after a big day, Ranch Steakhouse is where champions eat.
I'm Kaylee England, a former University of Oklahoma women's soccer player, and I want to share my wonderful experience with Mitchell's Jewelry. My fiancé received his grandmother's heirloom ring to incorporate her diamonds into my engagement ring. We wanted a jeweler who could combine the love of her ring with my vision. Mitchell's Jewelry was thrilled to take on such a special project. I couldn't be happier with the attention and expertise they gave us and my ring. I am honored to wear something so full of love. If you're looking for your dream ring, the team at Mitchell's Jewelry can make it happen.
Life runs on connection, powering your home, your work, and your world. At OEC and OEC Fiber, we keep the lights on with reliable electric service, and we keep you connected with fast, affordable internet. As a cooperative, we're more than a provider. We're your neighbors, committed to serving you with unmatched, dedicated service. Because at OEC, you're not just a customer, you're a valued member. Learn more at okcoop.org or oecfiber.com.
Tired of soaring insurance expenses or feeling uncertain about your coverage? At Right Way Insurance, every client receives a dedicated team of experts committed to addressing all your insurance worries. As an independent insurance company, they provide both personal and business coverage. Let them assist you in finding the optimal coverage for your specific needs. Contact Right Way Insurance at 405-607-6014 or at rightwayinsuranceok.com. That's Right Way Insurance, your trusted partner at 405-607-6014.
Hi, this is Martina McBride. With online news, social media, and texting available 24/7, the world seems to be spinning faster and faster every day. And it can be overwhelming. Sometimes we just need to unplug and take a break from our electronic devices. It can help reduce stress and allow us to reflect on the things that are really important in our lives.
This message brought to you courtesy of the United States Air Force.
Back for one final segment here on Locked In. Parker Thune alongside Grayson Singleton. The Waffler on the Knippelmeyer Chevrolet text line at 405-651-3439 has asked, Parker, can you please give us height and weight on these linebacker recruits? I will do just that, sir. Talanoa Ely from the state of Hawaii, 6'4", 220 pounds. Quebec, Carthage, Texas, 6'1", 205 pounds. A little bit of a smaller backer there, but as we've learned over the years, that's perfectly fine. Braxton Lindsay from the state of Arkansas, 6'3", 220 pounds. Sincere Johnson from Ohio, 6'3", 225. And Keenan Harris from St. Louis, Missouri, 6'1", 220. Lest I forget, Bo Jandro from the state of Arizona, 6'1", 210. So, all guys that certainly physically fit the bill as SEC linebackers, and they are targets moving forward for Nate Dreiling, the new linebackers coach, and Oklahoma as a whole. You ever been to Jack in the Box, Grayson?
My mom used to get us Jack in the Box all the time.
All the time, huh?
Okay, I say all the time. Twice a month, something like that.
Okay.
Have I been as an adult? No.
What was your opinion of Jack in the Box back in the day?
It was fine. I mean, it's skewered because, I was 12.
Okay, yeah.
But it's not somewhere I would eat now.
Okay. I've never been to Jack in the Box.
Really?
But I got a targeted ad when I was tapping through Instagram earlier for Jack in the Box's banana French toast sticks, and I found myself intrigued. I was like, ooh.
They didn't have those. They didn't have those when I was eating there.
Like, this looks slightly appetizing.
I get those targeted ads all the time because I'm a Lakers fan, and Jack in the Box is a big sponsor of the Lakers.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, of the Lakers local broadcast, yes.
Okay. Yeah, never been to Jack in the Box. I know there's one not too far from the studio.
Why don't you head over there after?
You know what? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do that.
I know when I was growing up they had all-day breakfast. I don't know if they still do now.
Listen, any place with all-day breakfast, that is an institution that needs to be preserved in society.
Believe me, this one isn't that good.
Be that as it may, breakfast food is breakfast food. And there are certain times, there are certain junctures at which I just want breakfast food, okay? standards as far as the quality of the food go out the window. You know, you're just feeling breakfast food. Breakfast food is what you want. You're like, just give me a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich, you know?
So you love you some McDonald's.
No, absolutely not.
That's what that sounded
Trust
like right
me.
there.
Yeah, no. I've not been to the one, I would say the one place, well, the two places that I will not touch under any circumstances are Burger King and Wendy's. Will not touch them.
Parker ain't over there getting himself a 4 for $4.
No, will not touch them. I have a hilarious video somewhere in my Snapchat archive from when I was a junior in high school. I think it was the last time I went to Wendy's. I ordered a 4 for $4. It took them, no joke, like 45 minutes to make the food. Somehow. I was there with a bunch of teammates, a bunch of baseball teammates. They all got their food within minutes. It legit took them like 45 minutes. I took a few bites of the food, walked outside, and threw the whole thing, tray and all, into a gutter. It was as hilarious on video as it sounds.
What prompted you to do that?
I was disappointed with the experience.
Well, that's one way to protest.
Yep. Drew from Flymount says, Wendy's is gas. You have poor taste. Come on now, Drew.
Wendy's is not gas, but when I was doing nighttime radio, I had a Wendy's right down the street from my apartment. And occasionally at 10:30, I'd be like, you know what, I'm just going to go get this 4 for $4. And it's not half bad.
Greg and Muskogee said, Parker, you can get a breakfast burrito all day long at your favorite, Sonic.
You can.
Yeah, Colin Claremore said, Parker is full of lies. I've heard you talk about Sonic before. I am not above eating breakfast food at Sonic. I will never order a burger or a sandwich or really any other food item there. But if it comes down to it and I have to eat at Sonic, I will go with the breakfast.
No mozzarella sticks?
Oh, man, I'm not a mozzarella sticks guy.
Oh, you're missing out.
Somebody in the fourth side says, got to go after the Jack in the Box tacos.
Those are okay.
Something about that is off-putting to me.
Wendy's chili is underrated. I believe Crimson. No, it is not.
Okay, come on. Now we're just
no.
Now we're just being outlandish.
We're not doing
on
that.
Al Gore's internet. This cannot continue. Let's get back on track.
Football.
Here. Yes, OU football. I tell you, man, the whole Nate Dreiling experience at practice yesterday was invigorating. I will say this though. There's another former Cowboy out there that looks dang good. Kendall Daniels, man, like, I've only seen him do drills. I don't know what it's going to look like on the football field. I don't want to make any empty promises, but, man, I'm excited by Kendall Daniels.
Were you alarmed by how big he is?
Yes. Yes, like, trust me. I know what his listed size is, and he looks bigger. He looks bigger than his listed size.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like the biggest dude out there.
Yep.
Period.
6'5", 6'4", 2. Is he still at 240?
Yeah, 240. I think he was listed at 6'5", 239 on the roster.
He's going to be interesting, and I'll tell you why. He's going to be interesting because this year is a big year for him.
Mm-hmm.
What he
last year for him.
That too. Last year, what he put on tape, I don't think is a referendum on him as a player, but boy, did it not look good at times at Oklahoma State. There was a lot of missed tackles, a lot of poor angles. My theory about it is that the season went south so fast that there were some players up there that kind of just were like, screw this.
Kendall Daniels being one?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. Because I wouldn't be able to explain the missed tackles, the apparent lapses in effort on tape last year. I can't explain that away to they were just over it. But I think in a more conducive system to him, which Brian Nardo's system at Oklahoma State was in no way conducive to him, and quite frankly to Colin Oliver either. Oklahoma State's best pass rusher before he broke his leg.
Hey, shut up, Cody. Cody from the Northeast corner said, Parker sounds like that little kid who only ate chicken strips growing up. I have a very diverse palate, and I have standards that I don't apologize for.
Look, Parker does have a pretty decently diverse palate. I will say that.
Ask anyone who knows me if I've ever made a bad food recommendation. The answer is no. I'll give you a spoiler. The answer is unequivocally no.
What was the place you and Michael Fasusi agreed upon?
Mo Betta's? You ever been to Mo Betta's?
I've not.
It's Hawaiian food.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, Hawaiian plate lunches.
Yeah, I'd never heard of it until.
Yeah, you get a couple scoops of rice, get a couple proteins, get some mac salad if you're into that sort of thing.
Okay. Mo Betta's. I'll try that one.
Yeah. It's up in that shopping center, I-35 in Robinson, next to the Young Family Athletic Center.
Oh, I'm over there a decent amount anyway.
Yep, worth the stop. Sooner Coetzel says, Parker is that kid that would buy chicken strips at a steakhouse. Stop with this. It's blasphemous. I have never ordered chicken strips at a steakhouse. I would never order chicken strips at a steakhouse. Ridiculous.
Frat bro Mark. Parker lives in LaGuardia.
I tell you, man, again, going back to yesterday and the practice field and all of the festivities surrounding it, I don't know that I have heard or witnessed or been a part of a more impressive interview than the one that Jiren Kanik gave to all of us last night after practice, in which he detailed the motive for his position change, how he felt about all of it, and just his drive not only to be great as an individual football player, but to help Oklahoma. I mean, he talked for darn near half an hour, which I tell you, in those scrum settings, generally, players will come talk to the media for 3, 4, 5 minutes. Then everybody's out of questions. And, okay, you're back to the locker room, getting showered, getting home. Jiren Kanik was there for darn close to a half an hour, answering a lot of the same questions multiple times, and just going in as much detail as possible into everything that led up to him playing tight end at the University of Oklahoma. And I tell you, man, that's a guy that regardless of what he does on the football field this fall, and I do think he's going to contribute, you can certainly appreciate the fact that, and I'll paraphrase what he said, but he basically said, look, as much as I want to stamp my own legacy as a football player, I want to help Oklahoma succeed. I want to help Oklahoma win football games, even more than that. That's a program guy, man. That's a program guy. A guy of whom there are far too few these days in the transactional era of college football that we live in.
I have nothing to add to that, and that's a good thing. I mean, I think he is a wonderful ambassador for Oklahoma. And by the way, not to underscore your point about him standing there for 30 minutes, right after practice in whatever shoes they wear, probably not the most comfortable thing either.
No.
And it's not like he's sitting at a podium either. He's standing there in a scrum of people. So, hats off to him.
A 405 listener asks, does Kanik eventually turn into some sort of football coach? Maybe in the long run, but I'll issue this prediction right now. I think Jiren Kanik's going to play NFL football. I don't know where. I don't know what his position ends up being. He might be a guy that kind of has one of those reverse trajectories that we were talking about earlier in the day with Michael Boganowski, who went linebacker to safety as opposed to so many safeties who slide down to linebacker. I could see Jiren Kanik being an NFL wide receiver if things break a certain way, but he is too dang good of an athlete not to have a future at the professional level, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does this fall in anticipation of that professional future that I believe is coming. That's it for Locked In here on a Tuesday. For Grayson Singleton, I am Parker Thune. Don't go anywhere. The Rush is up next. Teddy and Tyler, take it away.